Today is a pivotal day in the history of McIntyre Brothers. Today marks 100 years representing Ford Motor Company as a dealership, and we thank you for celebrating this occasion with us. To begin, we will take a look at the history of Ford Motor Company from its early beginnings, the way it grew, and the giant in the automotive industry that it has become. The story of Henry Ford, a great American, is not a story of overnight success. Henry Ford grew up on a farm and could have stayed in agriculture, the business that his parents had. But something even stronger pulled at Ford's imagination: mechanics, machinery, and the understanding of how things worked, and a dream of endless possibilities that lay in store. By the 1890s, Ford established himself as an engineer with the Edison Illuminating Company. But the young family man was restless and ready to venture into automotive engineering, a field in which he had been experimenting. Ford developed enough confidence in his ideas and believed that it could support his family. And he was right, for in 1896 he built his first vehicle, a quadricycle, a buggy frame mounted on 4 bicycle-type wheels. The first car offered by Ford Motor Company was described as the most perfect machine on the market, and so simple that a boy of 15 years old can run it. Its first sale was made in 1903 to a gentleman by the name of Dr. E. Fenging in Chicago, who bought a Model A 1 month after the company's incorporation. Between 1903 and 1908, Ford and his engineers feverishly went through 19 letters of the alphabet, from Model A to Model S. So when they produced and manufactured a vehicle, the first one they will call the Model A, and then the next one they will call the Model B, and they went down all the way to the Model S. But which one of those vehicles stood the test of time and literally brought Ford on the map? It was the Model T. And up to this time, the automobile had been little more than a toy for the wealthy. Ford knew that the time was right and the opportunity was at hand to make the car a necessity rather than a plaything. And so in 1902, there had been one car for every 1.5 million people living in the United States. And by 1909, there was one car for every 800 people. Although he did not invent the automobile, full credit can be given to him for building the automobile that millions could afford. His guiding philosophy was, "I will build a motor car for the great multitude. It will be so low in price that no man will be unable to own one." So working through the alphabet, that dream car was the Ford Model T. You can see a replica of it on the inside after the program. That Ford Model T changed the world. Its utilitarian virtues and lightness, simplicity and power made the Model T an immediate success. The first Model T sold for $825, an unexpected bargain compared to other cars. But even more astonishing was that over the next 19 years of its production, Ford Motor Company continued to steadily lower its price. And so in 1922, the Model T cost $269. And ironically, that is the year that McIntyre Brothers got the agency for Ford Motor Company. The Model T became the symbol of low cost, reliability, and it was a transportation that can get you through unpaved and often muddy roads when other cars couldn't. The car won the approval of millions of people who affectionately dubbed it Tin Lizzie. Now, Ford moved to mass production, and within 10 years of its founding, Ford Motor Company was selling cars in Europe, in South America and Asia, as well as in North America. And by the end of 1913, Ford Motor Company produced half of all automobiles. Ford initiated mass production in his factory. He had visited a meat packaging plant and observed that the meat packing process required butchers to remain stationary while meat cuts moved along a line. Ford reasoned that if each auto worker remained in one place with one task, the automobile would take shape more quickly as it moved down the line, saving countless worker hours. The moving assembly line began at the company's Highland Park plant in 1913. This technique immediately made assembly almost 8 times faster. Eventually, Model Ts rolled off the line every 10 seconds of every working day. Mass production had a tremendous ripple effect. More cars were produced in less time, prices were dropping, and more people were buying them. The effect boosted the overall economy further with new jobs, automotive industry, but also in the support industry like steel, rubber, and petroleum. And then Henry Ford went on to revolutionize the salary structure of his workers. Henry Ford startled the world in 1914 by announcing that the company's minimum wage would now be $5 a day. Remarkable because it more than doubled the existing rate. And note his philosophy on that. Ford considered the payment of $5 for an 8-hour day, replacing the $2.34. The finest cost-cutting move he ever made. And he went on to say this: I can find methods of manufacturing that will make high wages. He said, if you cut wages, you just cut the number of your customers. The Model T fueled an urban revolution. The moving assembly line fueled an industrial revolution. The $5 workday fueled a social revolution. Indeed, Henry Ford revolutionized the world's automotive business. Then he went on to expand his portfolio. In 1979, Ford Motor Company purchased 25% equity shares in Toyo Kogyo. That was the first name given to the Mazda company, Toyo Kogyo. And eventually, he went on to own majority shares in that company. Then he branched off to the Aston Martin, taking ownership of that unique type of automobile. So the company's expansion program resulted in 44 manufacturing plants, 18 assembly plants, 32 parts depots, and 2 huge proving grounds, 13 engineering and research facilities, and all of these in the United States market only. So besides substantially increasing Ford's vehicle production facilities, this program expanded company diversification in areas such as financing, insurance, parts and service, electronics, glass, aerospace, and car rental. Indeed, Henry Ford revolutionized the world. And in closing, through prosperity and hardship, through war and peace, Ford Motor Company grew from one man, his vision, a small garage and a quadricycle, to an American force that changed the face of the world and the nature of freedom and personal mobility. The accessibility of the automobile, now so taken for granted, contributed greatly to the economic growth and stability found in virtually every corner of the world. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is a short history of the man Henry Ford and the vision he had, and that is why we are here today.
I am no longer managing director. This young lady will be. It's been a long journey for me, but there comes a time when you have to say, enough is enough, and I'm doing that this afternoon with this young lady now taking over. Recently, I have not been well at all, so I'm not going to be long with you all because I'm going to let her take over and say a few words, and then we're going to. So you take over.
came as a surprise. So I'm totally lost for words. Dad, I will always do you proud. You know I'm a hard worker, and I have a lot of wonderful staff behind me.
Oh, yes.
You have lots of them who have worked with you for very many years, and they have been very loyal to you. We will continue to make you proud. We'll continue to work hard in the company and just grow from strength to strength. Love you, Dad.
I, of course, over the years, have been a close friend of the McIntyre family way back in the 80s when Laddie, of course, was Hubert Blair's right-hand man. And that's how I got to know the family. And of course, Mike and I have gone back a long, long time. But even before that, Mike had my first vehicle that I bought jointly with my brother, Kent. His number was 5219, was a Ford Escort. So I can't forget this at all. And over the years, of course, I've been a constant user of the Ford company. But friends, what I really want to talk about here is the fact that a family business was started a long time ago, and it has gone from strength to strength. And for that to happen, there must be a clear understanding that things start at one stage and it has to move to a next stage. And that there must be a time when the baton has to be handed over. And Mike has done so in a very nice way this evening. Emotional way, but effective way. And Fiona, you notice what's happening these days, women taking over. They're taking over in all aspects. So I'm preparing myself too, accordingly. Friends, business has gone through a lot. 2 years of this virus has affected every aspect of business in our country. It has changed the lives of everything. We're just coming from a heads of government meeting in Belize, and every prime minister's been speaking about the impact of the virus on all aspects of life in the country. And I feel fortunate at this point in time to see that I believe we've handled this reasonably well as a country. And therefore, only 2 days ago, we had a situation where for the first time, we had no one hospitalized with COVID-19. That in itself is a message. So I believe that we should expect more and more of economic activity as we move forward. But as the world comes from one, then we're facing another. What is happening in Europe is very frightening in every respect. And clearly, there are concerns throughout the international community of what is taking place there. Grenada has clearly stated its clear position as far as that is concerned. But as we see Europe basically facing these problems, it means that we have to keep the Caribbean as a zone of peace. And that's why we made it very clear at the heads of government meeting, our position and what is taking place is a unanimous one, and that we are asking and all concerned to recognize this region as a zone of peace. Well, that means that we expect to see more activity, tourism and other, moving to the Caribbean region, because people, when they want to travel for leisure, want a place of safety. And with that means, Fiona, we expect to see more cars and more cars selling, because as business expands, everybody else will get piece of the action. And government itself is certainly looking forward to this. But I feel fortunate at this point in time to say to you that the Eastern Caribbean and other institutions is recognizing that we expect a growth rate of over 7% this year as far as our economy is concerned. And that again is a clear indication of business of the car companies and other automobile companies and other services in the country will continue to grow. And St. George's University again has indicated in the new contract we have signed that they should be back fully on board in August, which again would make sense as far as business development is concerned. So, Mike, I am so proud of the fact that we are here today celebrating 100 years of a successful operation. And I feel fortunate to have had the friendship of the family over the years. And my own brother, Richard, who has been my wicketkeeper as cricket captain of Grenada, my old friend, and good to see him here this evening, and all the wonderful friends of ours.
McIntyre Brothers, as you know, is a Grenadian company, and it was established by Ethelbert, which is Bertie, my grandfather, and Donald McIntyre, his brother, in 1895. So it's more than 100 years old, but our partnership with Ford is the milestone that we are celebrating today. I like the idea that Henry Ford was a farmer, because my uncle and my grandfather were farmers too. And they actually were nutmeg brokers, as well as many other things, and mechanically minded. All right? So they had visions of greatness, like all Gove people, because lots of governor generals came from Gove. And they incorporated their agricultural import and export business and named it McIntyre Brothers Limited. Like many Grenadian families, nutmegs was an important part. So they were brokers until you formed the Nutmeg Association. So then they had to look for something else to make money, so they got the franchise from Ford and started it. So in 1922, they got the Ford franchise, and the company was incorporated. I think it is in not sure, can't find that on here. Anyhow, in 1940, second generation brothers, Colin and Laddie, and their sister Molly, we mustn't forget the woman power, right? They were sent up to England to study, ensuring that they were qualified to run the business when they came back. So that was the island experience, gone to London to school and to training. On their return to Grenada, Uncle Colin McIntyre, that's Richard's dad, and his team, Mr. Maitland was in that. So he was teaching everybody in Grenada mechanics. It was not technicians, they were mechanics, all right? And he stripped down a Ford Anglia and a Ford Prefect car and turned it into the Bomber, which was a convertible, and also another one, a hardtop called the Snake. He was the first Grenadian mechanic to do this, and photos of the conversions were published in the Ford Times. All right, so these cars were great. Richard's sons, Alan and Nigel, they race cars up at Pearls. So it's in the blood. We don't have red veins, red blood. We have black oil in our veins, and it's not jab jab. Although I'm the jab jab player. Okay. Colin also built his own speedboat Mermac using a supercharged Zephyr engine and raced it in Trinidad at top speed, and their boat was Kiss of Fire, and he beat them. And so my mom went down there for that because she liked to lime. That's Smithy for you. And they sold Mermac at the end of the racing. So you know Trinidad has that great race, right? They did it there. That was whenever, in the early 50s. And then, of course, they restored a Model T Ford, and the remnant used to be by Mrs. Benoit, where the Christmas lights started. I believe there's another Model T, I'm not sure, in West Hall Estates at their museum. Yeah, James Benoit's mother, yeah, it was there. Okay, so along came Michael and Richard, and those are sons of Laddie and Colin, and they went to England in the 1960s. That's swinging hippie London, right? So we won't go into all the things they got up to, except to say that the Ford Motor Company was at Crawley, and it was a close commute for them to go from their landlady, Mrs. Theobald, who became their English mother, right? And she provided accommodation for Ford trainees in the UK. There was no distance learning. We didn't have computers, so you had to go up to England to learn. Comes to mind of one of the buyer boys who worked with us and had gone to the UK as well. Richard, in writing something when we asked him, recounted the novelty of his first time riding on an elevator and how long it took him to learn which floor to get off at Ford headquarters. He was always getting lost. I think he was late. That's and in a rush. Okay. Some of the Ford slide presentation. We have a little presentation. You will see some of our international companies that we were associated with, such as Firestone and Pepsi, as well as regional friends and mentors such as Sidney Knox from Neil and Massey, and the Red Stripe inventor, Mr. Paul Geddes from Jamaica. That's my mentor. Okay, from him I ended up going to Sweden to do a quality assurance course, spent a lot of time in Jamaica. I went there too late. If I had gone at 17, I wouldn't be in Grenada, I'd be in Jamaica. All right? But it's lovely, so there you are. Anyhow, McIntyre's now has the proud distinction of being the oldest Ford dealer in the world with the same family running the business. And we celebrated our 90th anniversary with Ford in Las Vegas, right, in 2012. So they thank you, Ford, for that as well. Were you there? No, okay. Too young? All right. And we are now also the proud agents of Mazda, Honda, Yamaha outboards, Honda generators, and agricultural power products and accessories. And we have expanded our original taxi service. So my grandfather was a taxi driver, and we are now a full-fledged ground tour operator servicing international tour operators as well as local hotels. So we've kept the knitting, something to do with vehicles, yep, and service. Whether it's customer service or fixing your machine, it's all the same. All right? Our company actively supports community initiatives and youth development. Well, I plugged the library already. We offer internships in our service department and work with TAMCC in that regard, and we donate to school library programs, and we support the annual Fisherman's Birthday celebrations, as well as the Spice Isle Bill Fish Tournament, to mention a few. There's a lot of other people in the room who know who I'm talking about, all right? And we could not have attained this 100-year milestone without the support of our valued partner, Ford Motor Company, all right, where it all started, okay, and gave us all the training and yearning to do our best and to improve. And of course, we must not forget you, our loyal customers and friends and competitors, because you keep us on our toes. And of course, our enthusiastic, hardworking, loyal staff. Thank you to all of you.
It is a real pleasure to be here with you celebrating this milestone for the partnership between McIntyre family and former company. We wonder if when Ethelbert and Donald McIntyre signed the agreement for the Ford franchise in Grenada on March 10th of 1922, they imagined that exactly 100 years later, we will be celebrating that accomplishment with such joy and prayer. And here we are. We had the privilege this morning to visit Mr. Ethelbert McIntyre grave today and pay a small tribute to this visionary man. On behalf of former company and especially from the entire Central America and the Caribbean regional team, I want to thank McIntyre Bros. Ltd. for your commitment to our brand during the past century. In fact, McIntyre Bros. Ltd. is the oldest Ford dealer in the region with the same family running the business. We are so proud of that. We also want to congratulate you for your continued success, which we know derives from the hard work and your firm commitment to satisfy customers' needs with quality products and unparalleled service. We are proud that through this century-long partnership, we all can continue to contribute to the social and economic development of the communities in Grenada, because that is the essence of our company, helping to build a better world where people can progress and follow their dreams. We are very grateful to the whole McIntyre Bros. Family for inviting us to be part of this extraordinary event. Thank you all for joining this celebration. And to congratulate you and commemorate this event, we have a plaque that we want to deliver to you, Mr. Michael McIntyre and Fiona, on behalf of former company, Jim Farley, our CEO, Bill Ford, the president of the board,